Alright, I'm going to say goodnight now before I start this. Good night. Love you. Have fun. Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while. For that, I apologise. I've been off doing my own thing for a while, I guess. Anyway, I'm here now. I'm here to go through everything and put you all at ease, I guess. Well, let's check if I'm just going to play it at ease. Alright, So first off, welcome back to the stream, I guess, and we'll go through everything. So I'm just catching up on a couple of messages. So, right, there we go. All right, so as we all know, Bitcoin's been ranging up. Obviously, although I haven't been streaming, I've still been posting in my channels. So if you can see my channels, that is great. If not, links are in the description. I'm going to say hi. But yeah, I've noticed during this downtrend, you see here, since it peaked last time, that we've been filling quite a few FEGs. Like it'll come down, there's a big one here. It'll come back up to fill the FEG, and then it continues down. So I've started personally marking FEGs up. Okay. If you don't know what an FEG is, it's a fair value gap. Okay. It's basically a deviation in the candles, where kind of like there's a gap, basically, where the candles haven't filled it or that bollocks. I can show you what it is very quickly for those that don't know. I'll zoom right in so I can show you. So from this candle here, okay, let me draw a nice little circle. So we've got this tiny candle, this candle, and the body of the candle. Okay, the fair value gap goes from the wick top on the left candle to the wick bottom on the right candle. Basically, that body is what people call the fair value gap. Okay, and someone somewhere is like, hey, whenever there's this, it needs to be filled. Then kind of, I'm not 100% on it, but to some extent they do work. They're not worth forgetting about, if that makes sense. They're good to know. This one here I can cross off because that's been filled. Look, okay. What people are most likely interested in at the minute, though, okay, is the deviations. Okay, now as you see, each chart is slightly different. I mean, they're all the same, but they're marked slightly different on mine. So I've got the 4 hour here, the daily there, and the weekly. Okay, they've all got slightly different analysis, but they all ultimately come to the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to start on the weekly. So I've got this pattern here. So I've marked this up a while back now, and so far it's played out okay. So it's following the uptrend. There's a slight deviation to the uptrend here. I mean, I can readjust that, to be honest. I could have that there, so it's touched. There we go. Makes no difference, really. What I'm trying to get at here is like basically how it bounced off. Okay, so when it's hit this point here, the crossover, it's come up, and then I'm expecting it to hit the crossover here again before taking it up. Now, ultimately, that means on the weekly, we're going to come up basically for a double top. Okay, in essence. Now, whether this plays out or not, I don't know. We do have an FEG here. Looking at the weekly at the minute, we don't have an FEG below. That's fine, but we definitely got one there that needs filling. A lot of people are called a short already. I can understand why. On the weekly, we're about there for a short. I think we're going to see a little bit higher first before we should really short. But I mean, it all depends on your trade, doesn't it, and where you set your stop loss. Okay, just to clarify, just make sure a second. Can people hear me? I just want to check that people can hear me. That's all. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Yep, okay, so the music's playing, so yeah, you should be able to hear me, I think. Okay, cool. Anyway, that's fine, don't worry. I am recording this anyway, so if you missed the stream, it's not a problem. So in terms of this analysis, I'm playing the trend line here, okay, and support. Okay, so previous support down here would have been a similar setup to this. You know, we'd have another support line there, and we'd expect the playoff. Let's have a look. So at the minute on the weekly, so I've got this marked up, which is kind of, I don't know, it doesn't mean diddly squat at the minute. I've just marked it up because it looks good. I'm wondering to see if it'll play out, and whether, if so, this pattern that I expect to play out, like I'm expecting a bounce again here at 74, maybe a little bit lower. You know, I'd like to say that we go lower. Okay, I'd like to say that we go lower one last time before the final push up for the full finale, should I say. Okay. However, at the same time, I've got to be realistic. So my analysis was that we bounce at 74k, which is what we've done here. Okay, 73.5, and we've started coming back up. So now what I'm looking at, obviously, I expect this FEG to be filled on the weekly. It's quite a strong one when they form on the weekly. Okay. So I expect this to be filled before continuing back up. But whether that comes down, fills, and then carries on this new uptrend here. Sorry, a little bit gassy. Or whether it comes back down, yet remains to be seen. Okay, now on the daily, okay, I've got my channel down here. Why is it down here? Okay, the reason for that is obviously we're in this range when the bear trend sort of changed. We were in this range. Okay, now we broke out of it. What we haven't actually done is retested. Okay, so this is where I've got no arguments about shorts being called at the minute. Okay, because of effectively we need to come down and retest. We need to retest this channel. This is the one I wanted, sorry. Okay, before a stronger level up. Okay, it's just how channels work. We need to retest it and hold it. Okay. Let's draw fib. Let's have a look, see what the fib tells us. Currently, so yeah, sounds about right for resistance around there. Okay. Now this FEG I can actually shorten. Okay, this is so basically that's the FEG there. Okay, but because the candles come down, filled half it, we've already got half a gap basically. Okay, and it's a good way to shorten them like that as you go through, or remove them completely, and then you know how much is kind of left to fill. It's yeah. You don't have to do that. You can leave it, I guess, and just watch it. As you can tell, there's quite a few FEGs. I mean, this one here, 70,500. I've been watching that for quite a while now. I mean, it's here on the weekly as well. It come down, it touched it, and then it was like, yeah. Touched it and then decided it didn't want to play, basically. So that one's still in play. And there's just a tiny one a little bit further down, 64. Let's have a look. Now all these FEGs, this one's at 85. Currently showing an uptrend. Now we are on a channel, and this is doing what I expect a channel to do at the minute. Okay. So we're obviously ranging. Just here. Let's have a look. Okay. And yep, there we go. Okay, so we've got this channel range within the channel. Okay. Now a lot of people have gone short and they're expecting big profits. Me, I'm expecting the longer trend to hold here, which to me, agrees with my analysis of we're going to see a slightly higher before we dip. Okay, so for that to happen, I expect us to come up to this midpoint at least. Okay, so that's about 109, 110k. Okay, before a dip, before we start really dipping again. It'd be nice if 109 or 110k holds. Okay, and kind of pushes up. We're looking at anywhere between 115 plus. Okay, so while everyone's looking for shorts, I can understand why they're looking for shorts. I think personally, I think it's too early for a short. Okay. I mean, you see it all over YouTube at the minute. It's like, time to go short. And the bears are selling. In the Discords I'm in, I see people putting shorts out. I'm not going to knock them. Okay, I'm not going to knock the short calls because I can understand it. My own analysis is kind of saying we're kind of at that area where we can expect a retracement. I just think from my analysis that we've got a bit higher to go yet. Okay, so for me I'd like to see either 109, 110k before I start looking for a short. Okay, or if 109 and 110k sort of breaks, then we're going 115. Because the rules of a channel, they're very simple. You don't have to break them. So for example, look at this sideways channel here. Okay, touch the top, hit the bottom. Okay, we come back up. We failed to keep the midpoint. We come back down. Now we've bounced off the top. We're at the midpoint, which is also the bottom of this channel. Okay, now we could have a wick off to the bottom. I'd say a wick off of the larger channel to the bottom of this channel to come back up. Okay, that doesn't mean this could be a bear trap. Okay, I'm gonna chuck this on in me text here. Okay, I'm gonna put a bear trap. I'm not saying it is. It could be. Okay, if that play out there happens, I'm fairly confident it's a bear trap. Okay, if it comes down, it's not a bear trap. Okay, it's a bull. It's not even a bull trap. Okay, but yeah, that's a possibility there. Or we could come back up to the top of the channel now and break out to the upside. That would be the nice ideal play for a lot of us, I assume. Okay. Now, on a macro level, when I say macro, I mean on a candle level. Okay, so if I was to zoom right in on the 4 hour here. Okay, we do have a swing failure pattern on the. What's this? We do have a swing failure pattern in play to the downside. Okay, the swing failure pattern is where the candles open and close, they're of equal height and length. Okay, and it's come up and then it's come straight back down. So this would be your short indicator, technically. Okay, so from the swing failure pattern, you can expect lows. So I'm really not going to knock anyone for going short. Okay, it's a good call. I just don't have the intuition. I presume, is that the right word? Let me Google that. Let me open up. Opening up my stream there. Right, let's go. Intuition meaning. What's that word? The ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. Yeah, okay, yeah, that fits. So my intuition is telling me not to short, basically, based off what I can see. When all reasoning is there to say to short, a lot of our signal callers have gone short. There's been 2 thrown out today. Fair play. I think they are currently in profit at the minute because give good entries. That's not my play. That's all I can say. Okay. But it remains to be seen. Okay, because the reason why I say this, let me try and put it into words why I don't think that we're going short. Okay, is because the channels. Okay, now channels, you can use them as trend lines, you can use them as support and resistance, you can use them for all sorts. Okay, I use them a lot in my trade, and I think channels are great. Okay, but also with my indicators. Okay, and allow me to show you. Let me turn off my main indicator. So this one I did publish, but TradingView took it off because of naming issues or something. I don't know. Like they said I could publish it, and then they decided I couldn't publish it and gave me a warning. This one just allows me primarily to, if I'm scalping, try and get an early position. Okay, it long and short of it. And it also allows me to sort of get a feel of the market. Okay, so it's like, is the market trending or is it downtrending? So far, if I zoom out, it works quite well for me. So obviously when it's green, we're trending up, and when it's red, it's trending down. Okay, I've got a couple markers to tell me potentially when to buy, when to sell. They're not perfect, but they make me profit if I was to follow them. For example, if I went long here, I'd have lost out initially. This is why I don't use them for buying or selling. Okay. So like to where it told me to sell, you see, so it's like a 0.83 RR on that one. Okay. But they're indications. That's all they are. Okay, that's all I use them for. So that's that one. But this one is the main one, which you will get for free. I've got to have this one on because the candles. I keep forgetting that. Okay, because we're so used to candles. This is the other main thing that I like my indicator so much is the different coloured candles. Okay, it tells me the volume. Okay, you could have a really, really big candle. Let me try and find one a second. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so you've got this really big white candle here. Okay, there is no volume there. No volume at all. That's just a normal day trading candle. Okay, so that's 8.34%. There's no volume in that movement. People be like telling me like, it's pumping, it's going crazy. No, that's just normal. That's just normal volume. Okay. When it's blue, like this one, for example, that's increased volume. That means like it's starting to get a bit of increase today. Okay, what's happening today? Why is there this increase in volume? Okay, that's what you want to be looking at. And when it's green, like that, it's an absolutely tiny candle in comparison, isn't it? But if it's a green candle, that means there is absolutely insane volume going on. Okay, now if I show you on the daily, it's not just little candles, it's big candles as well, you see. But like that's how, to me, I determine like if there's something to pay attention to or whether there isn't. Okay, because very rarely do I get a green candle. Okay, and the same is with the purple. Okay, so that's increased volume to the downside, and red is a lot of volume. Okay, not quite as much to the upside, I don't think, but still. So to me, like someone was saying today, like there's a deviation or something within the 5 minute or 3 minute candle, and like they're like, whoa, look at it pump, it moved 0.6%. I mean, we all know 0.6% isn't anything to shout about, but this guy was adamant. I'm not going to call him out, okay? But the guy was adamant that it wasn't right for the 5-minute candles, something wasn't right, but he couldn't explain it. I wanted him to explain it because, like, we all see things and interpret things differently, okay? No one is right, no one is wrong until it plays out. That's just the way it is, okay? If you spot something, you need to explain what you're looking at, okay? Because to me, when I'm looking and I see a 0.6% movement on Bitcoin, I'm like, well, that's just normal daily trading range, you know. But this guy was adamant that it wasn't normal for the 5-minute candle. So I tried to get him to explain it, and he couldn't, which was disappointing. He couldn't explain why he thought it was different. So we ended up having a laugh out of it, really. Poor guy. Which is a shame, because, you know, we all see things differently and we all interpret things differently. I really like it. Like, people see something, call it, say it, tell me what you're thinking, and we'll look to see if there's something in there. Anyway, going back to what I was saying originally. Right, my indicator, this is free on TradingView right now. Okay, you can search for it. Also has, let me bin that one. The one you will get is this one. Okay, it's got the background as well. I've just disabled it from my side, but that background's pretty cool. It tells you sort of which direction the market's going in again, I guess. Okay, it's just based off the RSI, that background. Just one number on the RSI. Okay, so with my indicator, this one, it detects breakouts. Okay, particularly on Bitcoin, it's pretty good for that. I'm not going to lie. So it also detects when a breakout isn't there. Okay, so or when to sell rather, when to buy and when to sell. So a breakout and a breakdown. That's the correct words that I'm looking for here. Okay, so I'll show you on the daily. Okay, you see how it's crossed above the baseline. It's come up. Okay, it's dipped under. This would have been your first warning here. It dipped under the baseline, and it dipped under briefly. Then it come back up, and then it dipped back down again. You should be out. Okay, if you went out here, you definitely need to get out up here, because look, then it dropped down. Now we've come to a breakout again. Okay, so if we're on a breakout, I'm expecting it to continue the breakout. Now that doesn't mean that I'm expecting it to permanently 100% shoot for the stars, because that's like, if it did that, we'd all be rich. No one would ever lose money, would they? It'd be nice. So yeah, on the 4 hour, let me put my one back on. Honestly, there's no difference between the two, except I've just disabled the background for myself. I leave it on for everyone else because it's part of the indicator, and that's what it's there for. So again, we've got the break out. We've had a dip here, okay, but we come back up, so there was no second dip. Okay, so here you'd be securing profits, but you wouldn't be exiting. Okay, you just secure profits. Second one, where you want to be 100% out, remains to be seen yet, but currently we are still above the baseline. Okay, so we're within this range, which we followed a range here as well. Let me draw it for people who are visually inclined. Just there. Okay, we had that range, and then it broke out. Yeah, once it hit the outer channel. So this is why I don't think it's a good time to go short yet. Not going to knock it. If you're in a short position, stay in it. See how it goes. got to have conviction in your place. Okay. Just because I think it's a bad idea doesn't mean that you should close your position and suddenly just fold. Because if it does go south, let's face it, like I could be wrong. Anyone can be wrong. Okay. And if it goes south and you close because I said I don't think now's a good time to short, then that's pretty silly of you, really, isn't it? Okay. Right. So that's Bitcoin. I haven't looked at USDT dominance for a while. Okay. I was checking this pattern out where it all touched. Okay. Now, every time it touched, it bounced. Okay. So now we've reversed. We broke that cycle here. Okay. Primarily there, but we broke the cycle here, and then it touched. Okay. So look. Let's drag this one across. Touched on the 200 EMA. So if this now pumps, touches on the 200 MA, that forecast out there. I say forecast because it hasn't happened yet. Let's see. So if USDT dominance rises, Bitcoin will drop. But I don't think it's going to be as big a drop as people say. Okay. Another reason why I don't think shorting right now is the best thing to do. But hey, we're going to that. Let's have a look at this. Okay, that was my target that I put ages ago. I was expecting it. So what I was expecting was it to bounce and come up to the target before coming back down. But instead, it bounced there. Let me have a look. It's all on stream when I did this. So this was ages ago. 6.23%. 6.33%, so 0.10%, 0.10% out on my target there before reversal. Why did I choose that? Because that coincides with the resistance. Okay. So hopefully USDT dominance continues to dip. Bitcoin dominance is rising. This is also bullish. Look at that. This support I've drawn from ages ago has now covered and shown that it's still support. I'm happy with that. The reason why I'm happy with that is because it basically means that my levels that I'm marking are getting slightly better. Okay? A bit more understanding. Now, what's happened here? Okay, Bitcoin dominance has broken out of the EMAs. Okay, so this should continue to go back up. It's approaching resistance around there. Let me got quite a bit of resistance here. It's got to break through that. So this bottom resistance here is going to be the main kicker to break through. Okay, because that's going to dampen the middle. And the middle is going to be really tough to break through, whereas the top, if we break through the middle, we can pretty much say we're going through the top here. So this will be quite interesting to see. Leave that there for now. I mean, as you can see, that already started when it touched on candles. Check where the candle wick top is. Yeah. Total market cap has increased by 0.2% today. It's not bad. You know, it's not quite where we want to be, but it's good. Now this is interesting. Okay, this is interesting because on the daily on Bitcoin, as you can see, we haven't retested the channel. Okay, on the total market cap, we retested the channel and bounced off. Okay, let's have a look at ADA. I haven't looked at ADA for a while. I like sort of just going over it every now and then. Okay. It's just ranging. It's going sideways currently. We'll see. Sol did pretty much exactly what I said it would do. For those of you that remember, I had the whole cup and handle. Yeah. So I'm not worried about Sol. I go long and the sell. The indicator doesn't work that well there, but it's just an indication. Now this is interesting. Sol has currently broken to the downside of the channel. Is that an early indication that perhaps a short is in equation? That's what I mean, like, you know, all the signs are there to go short. Everyone's saying to go short. I don't know, I just got a hunch not to go short right now. It's a shame, like, I see the market sometimes and it's like, I get sorrowful because, like, I don't have the funds to play properly. I mean, I was a bit stupid last year. I took the piss with the futures. I didn't take it seriously, so I lost about $600 on futures because I just wasn't taking it seriously. You know, the money I've got in at the minute is what I made on spot play last year. So I'm currently up on that. I've got about 400 or 500 on spot, I think, roughly. And then there's obviously everyone knows I'm holding Cardano. So I've got money in the game still. I just haven't been trading for the past 2-3 months, which is a bit annoying because I've missed all these opportunities. But that's fine. Okay, that is fine. Part of me is doing it to teach myself. Okay, to be patient. Okay, patience is something that as a trader you have to learn. Now, yeah, I can sit here and go, oh, there's so many missed opportunities, what's going on? We can all sit there and go, oh, there's so many missed opportunities, but the problem is, these missed opportunities are serving a purpose, okay? And they're serving their purpose to ensure that by me being patient, I'm not going to miss the opportunities that matter, okay? This year is if any of my friends ask me about crypto and Bitcoin and how to get into it and what to get into, I tell them all, don't do it now, you're too late. Wait until the end of the year. Okay? Might sound like a bad thing to say, but at the same time, these are my friends. I don't want my friends losing money, just like I don't want people that follow me to lose money. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. I don't care about that. I mean, that's what you do. But what I aim to do is to help teach you how to read the charts, or to give you a bit more of an informed decision for you to make. But if my friends ask, it's always don't invest right now. Wait until the end of the year when the market dips. You know, about this time next year will be a good time to start investing again, I reckon. What was that marked for? I can't remember what I marked that for summer, but it started popping. A link looks like, you know, from there's your M. So someone was telling me, I can't remember who it was. I know who it was. someone from another server. I'll give him a shout out. His name's Grasity. Okay. I was talking with him about the M's and the W's and how you see them everywhere, and he was telling me that it's actually a Gartley pattern for harmonics. Apparently, although people see them, they don't see them, surprisingly, which is why people use harmonics, I guess, or they've refined harmonics. Not everyone sees them, which I find pretty strange. Like, there's an M there, you know. But again, look, bounce right on the resistance. Let's coming back down. I don't know what to say. Support and resistance, guys, is your bread and butter. If you get good at placing support and resistance, then you can learn to place it in a way that can actually make you money. And like, that's what people say when that's all you need to trade. It's true. Support and resistance. You just practice perseverance, time, experience. You know. Anyway, I'm going to stick to my age-old rule, okay? And it's basically, if I don't get no interaction from people, I end the stream, because it's not fun for me to sit here for an hour talking to myself, and it's pretty boring for everyone else as well, I can imagine, just hearing me waffle. So that's what I do. That's why it's called Rangers Rambles. I waffle. But same time, some interaction is great because it tells me that you're engaged, you're enjoying it, and when there's no interaction, kind of like gets a bit boring for me after a while. So on that note, I'm gonna love and leave you all. Peace out, and I will see you next Sunday at 9 PM. Peace out.